Hello everyone, welcome back. Today it's part 23 of the Alchemist workshop project. This might not be the last, maybe one of the last videos on the project because we are almost done. And today I'm gonna talk a bit about editing our videos. So last time we had a look at the compositor. I'm just gonna show you a few more things. So let's have this as a viewer node again. And what we had last time was something like that, the render layers. But what we can do, if you did like me, like I outputted my scene not using the compositor, so this was unchecked. So what I have is something that is called a raw render, meaning the render hasn't been modified. So what I can do here is add an image sequence. Okay, sequence 4. Okay, so I select them all and click on import image sequence. So now I have here an image sequence. What we can do now is disconnect this output and plug it in here so that now Blender doesn't have to render an image. I can mute this, so when I calculate the output from this image sequence to the composite, Blender will not take care about the scene. So let's activate the viewer node like that. Okay, and what we can do from here is import our nodes from the previous scene. So in order to export a compositor nodes from a previous file, what I can do if I have my node set up here from another file is selecting the nodes that are in between the render layer and the composite or the viewer, and then press on my keyboard the keys Ctrl plus G to make it a group, so that now my nodes are inside this small node. Okay, you can switch from this view to this view, meaning inside using the tab key on your keyboard. We did it as well, I think, for the materials at some point, and then you can here give them a name. I'm just gonna call them Compositor Group, and this, if you save your file, can be imported into any other scene. So now from here I can go to File, Happen, browse to where the saved file is. Okay, and inside here I have something called Node Tree, and here I have my Compositor Group. I can happen it, and so now it's part of this scene, but it's not in my compositor view for the moment. I can go and add it. So in the add menu, you've got now something called group, and I can find here compositor group. And now this node I can add here in between those two. So now inside here I have the setup I showed you last time. Because this is now an image sequence, okay, I can browse my timeline like that and have it display in here. It's a bit slower than just having the animation because it needs to calculate the output, and then I can change the settings I want going through here, meaning that if I want maybe things to be brighter, I can do that and things will be brighter. Okay, you've got your image sequence here. It is said that it's starting at frame 1, and you've got 251 frames, so this needs to stop at 252. Okay, and then what you can do from here is to render another image sequence. Okay, I will choose OpenEXR for the moment with the codec TWAA. Okay, as we did last time, and this time I can have the compositing enabled so that my final images will take into account the compositing. what I did here. Okay, let's render that easily using the render animation button here. It still takes less time than a complete render, of course, because it just have to calculate the compositor node. So from here, something which can sometimes be useful is to add another image sequence. I'm gonna choose sequence 3 at the moment, okay? And something that unfortunately we can't do is have two viewer nodes and have them both displayed at the same time. The one that will always be displayed is the one that is selected, okay? But what I can do still is to have one viewer node here that will be sequence 4, and on this side, because both viewer will display the same image, what we can do is not using a viewer, but using the composite output, meaning what is called render results. And now we can have both sequences displayed beside each other, and that can allow us, for example, to compare the look and feel of both. We can see that this point of view is higher, but the feel of the image is different. This is more reddish, oranges, and this goes more toward the blues. If I move my composite node here, now both will display the outputs after compositing, and I can then compare both of them. Of course, we need to make sure it doesn't use the same node group. I can just click on this, like for the materials, and this will make a unique compositor group, okay? Meaning that if I modify one of them, the other one will not be modified. Okay, this will only affect the image on our right. Okay, so that was the beginning of this lesson. Now, I'm just gonna start a new file, okay? And now we're gonna use what is called sequencer. It's not available directly on top, but what you can use is the plus button here. Click on video edit and then video editing. So now you've got this kind of window. On the left here, you can select the assets. This is a timeline with a lot of tracks, and this is the view of what will be in the sequencer. This is displaying images only, but if you want to import an image sequence, don't go and drag and drop those, because you will have to drag them one by one like that. So if you want to import the entire sequence, use add an image sequence here. Select this sequence 4. So we have that. And now we've got our sequence. Okay, and we can browse through it like that. Okay, so that's it. This is still the raw render, of course. I haven't exported the entire animation with the compositing. And now, once you've got this, what you can do is, like in any other editor, select a different strip, then move it or use the G key to move it. You can even scale it if you want. Okay, and of course you can't rotate it. But what is good here is that you can cut it where the playhead is using the key K on your keyboard. Okay, now I have two strips, and I can also create a transition between the two. If I select both of them, go to add, transition, and then I can choose between cross, gamma cross, or wipe. I will choose cross. Now our crossfade is working. So this will allow you to add all the sequences one after the other, and then create a crossfade or another kind of effect to transition between two of them. like that. And once it is done, of course, we can do what we did before, is set up this to be the end of your animation. At the moment, the time is displayed in seconds here, but you can use Ctrl T on your keyboard to display it as frames. It's ending at 177. Okay, so let's add that 177 here in the end frame range. And of course, as I told you earlier, now it's the time to export as a video file. So choose FFmpeg video here. You can here call the presets and choose H.264 in MP4. That's what I use usually. Okay, with those settings. And of course, if you got audio, usually what I work with is SE3. This will export the audio. And now, the only thing you need to do, again, is go to render and render animation. And this will export a video file for you. Okay? That's, again, a very short tutorial, but I don't think we need much more of that for the moment, at least. I hope you got enough information out of this tutorial to make your own editing. And of course, as usual, I'm looking forward to seeing what the result you managed to do or to create. Have fun everyone, have a good day, and I'll see you maybe in a future video. Bye.